Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Handy, the Android Authority App Guy, and welcome back to Android Apps Weekly. This is episode number 153, so let's get started. IFTTT has rolled out direct third-party support. What that means is that instead of going into the IFTTT app to create recipes, individual app developers can now include them directly into their apps. People can then just head to the settings and turn on the recipes that they want. It's a new thing, so there aren't a whole lot of real-world examples yet, but some companies like Garagio, Adobe, Skybell, Bloom Sky, Automatic, and others will have it sooner or later. Facebook announced this week that their advertising will be more resistant to ad blockers. Basically, the company is redoing how the advertising is rendered on the page in order to disguise them as organic content so that ad blockers leave them alone. Ad revenue represents a large portion of Facebook's revenue stream, and many sites depend on it to reach new audiences, so a move like this isn't unexpected. It is worth noting that Adblock responded in kind like 2 days later, so it's probably a non-issue. We are but 1 month away from the day when Google Chrome will start killing off support for Adobe Flash. Despite the sudden off switch coming in just a month, Google Chrome has slowly been lowering its support for Adobe Flash over the last few years. If you still have uses for Flash, you won't be able to do things anymore, but at this point, most sites have migrated away from it anyway, so it's not really that big of an issue. Quadrotor is a new security flaw on Android that affects devices with a Qualcomm processor. It's a standard privilege escalation vulnerability, which means that applications that have this problem can get root access, and then it'll have access to everything on your device. Luckily, features that already exist, such as Verify apps, pretty much prevent this from happening. As long as you don't sideload applications or you get apps from trustworthy sources, your chances of having these issues are virtually 0%. Hulu announced this week that they're doing away with their free service. Initially, you could watch some stuff for free, and then you could get additional features and shows by paying for the monthly subscription. However, the company stated that their free offering is so far removed from their paid experience that they decided to scrap it altogether. It definitely sucks, but that's how things go. For even more Android apps and games news, including the latest Pokemon Go news, you can check out this week's newsletter, which is linked in the video description below. If you want to sign up for the newsletter for yourself, you can use the form which is in the written companion, which is also linked in the video description below. Don't forget to check out the official Android Authority app for even faster updates. Reigns is a strategy simulation game with some pretty unique mechanics. Instead of using controls to maneuver a world, you're given a stack of cards. You then swipe through each card Tinder style to answer whether you agree with that position or not. The longer you play, the longer you remain in power, and if you make the wrong decision, you are mercilessly killed. It's a goofy little idea, and it's a pretty interesting use of the Tinder swipe mechanics. It's $2.99 with no in-app purchases. Isotope is a beautifully designed application from Jack Underwood, developer of the popular Today calendar, and this application helps you learn more about the periodic table of elements. It features a 118-element table, complete with transition animations, along with high-quality images for most of the elements. The developer has promised to include more over time. You can also read more information and fun facts about the elements, search for a specific element, and some additional features. If you go pro, you get an additional theme, and it's worth noting that neither version has ads. The Manga Works is the latest simulation game out of Kairosoft, the same developers who did the highly acclaimed game Dev Story. In this sim, your job is to run a studio that produces manga. You'll start with a fledgling studio, and you'll be hunting for plot ideas to make your manga better. It has a lot of the same graphical styles and mechanics as game Dev Story, so those who may have played that will have an idea of how this game works. It's $4.99, but there are no in-app purchases. The only downside is that it doesn't appear to have cloud saving. OneView Calendar is a fun new calendar application with some very bold ideas. For starters, it doesn't sort your calendar by the classic month, day, or week views. Instead, the entire thing is laid out in a single agenda view mode where you can scroll through your entire calendar. It supports pinch to zoom so you can navigate easily, and it syncs with Google Calendar, which should make migration easy. You can add events by dragging and dropping the icon where it needs to go. It's completely free, and it's actually a lot of fun to use. FIE Swordplay is a new fencing game and, frankly, the best fencing game now on Google Play. You create a character and then you learn the finer points of fencing, and the mechanics are simple and easy to understand while being difficult to master. The game features customization that has you adding equipment to your characters and even fine-tuning your weapon. There is a PvE campaign mode, or you could face off against your social media friends in the PvP mode. It has in-app purchases, but they're generally inoffensive. The game is definitely worth a shot. And that about does it for this one, folks. If you want to keep watching, we'll have Jace's latest news video linked up there on the screen and in the video description below. Don't forget to sign up for that newsletter and keep it tuned to Android Authority because we are your source for all things Android. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.